let's start with Poirier and Thingy Bob and the interim title madness that's happening right now. Yeah?
I agree. I think, look, that happened last week. We probably should have talked about it in the last show. The show just sort of got away from us, and people were commenting afterwards. They were like, how did you guys not touch on Poirier and Max at all on that show? And we just sometimes, the conversation just goes
Because
where it
we've
goes.
got enough bullshit to talk about without that. We don't need, the stories from the MMA world to just have a nice conversation. So Poirier versus Holloway for the interim lightweight belt, should I say? Obviously, Khabib is out of action. He's suspended for 9 months. They're bringing in the interim title. I guess, you can see it from both sides. UFC, if he's out for 9 months, what do you think? You think that's a legitimate reason for an interim title? 9 months?
Well, I'm going to stay consistent with what I say every time, and I'm going to say 1 year of inactivity. I think there deserves to be an interim title at the very least. I guess you can review it and see if you would strip the person, but I think a year of inactivity is a reason, at least for. And when did he last fight? I'm trying to look up his last.
It was October.
So October, and it'll be for 9 months from his last fight, right? It's not 9 months from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think it's necessary. I think we have plenty of times where fighters don't fight for 9 months, a year. It happens, it happens fairly often, actually, when a champion doesn't defend his belt for that long, and it's not necessarily means for an interim title. I think they should have a rule, and it should be black and white, so we know. We should just have a little understanding of why they make that decision. It's marketing, very obviously. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, for sure. It is marketing. You got to look at it from both sides. They want to keep the division moving forward. They want to continue to put on big fights, and they're under pressure. They got to put on big fights. They're on ESPN. They're all over the world. There's a lot of networking money involved, sponsorship money. They want to put on big fights. And if a champion is going to be out, suspended, whatever, be injured, I guess they got to keep the show moving on. And an interim title fight, for me, of course, I don't. And I think everybody knows they're not the champion, but it is still prestigious. It does make the fight a little bit more special, and it certainly guarantees the next number one contender. So I'm not totally like, what the fuck about it? I'm like, all right, fair enough. I can see an argument for it, but you're right. I agree with you. 1 year should be a decent benchmark of when an interim should be brought in, but whatever. Either way, the fight's going to happen. It is a rematch. Poirier, I think it was rear naked choke, if I'm not mistaken, the first fight. Of course, Max Holloway's come on a long way since then. The interesting thing about this whole story, though, is that Tony Ferguson was initially offered the fight. Tony Ferguson was offered the interim title fight, and he turned it down. Now, I can kind of understand that, because Ferguson, of course, we all know, he won the interim title before. And what happened? It was very bad luck. Week before the fight with Khabib, or a few days before the fight with Khabib, tripped over a wire at the Fox Studios and blew out his knee and was out for a while. And then they stripped him of the interim title. So in Tony's mind, he's probably like, well, fuck that. I'm not fighting for this belt that I already have, that you stripped me of. But what he's doing there is cutting his nose off to spite his face. I understand his perspective. I understand his grievance. I understand him not wanting to fight for a belt that he feels he is already the rightful holder of. I get that. But the interim title makes you the number one contender. So what's going to happen is he's going to sit out from an interim title fight because he wants the title fight. And then Holloway or Poirier, one of them's going to win. They're going to be the interim champion, and they're going to leapfrog Tony. So he's only hurting himself.
Agreed.
I understand his emotions. I do. I'm not criticizing Tony. I'm really not. But he's going to get sidestepped and overlooked.
And especially in this day and age where there are so many interim titles, at this point, who cares? It happens so often at this point that it's like, it's almost become like they've almost like increased the amount of titles in the UFC, right? Now, yeah, they're not real quote unquote championships, but it's very prestigious, number one. But number two, it guarantees you the title shot, and it keeps you right there at the forefront. You're the fucking dude. So why wouldn't you want to be the dude that's next up to bat? And knowing that you're going to be there is sort of cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I said cutting off your nose to spite your face. It's not kind of, it is. It is. It's precisely that. But as I said, Tony feels like he had the champion. But as you say, it is cutting your nose off because he's going to get sidestepped. Now, the thing is, I forgot I was going to say something there, and then I totally went blank. I'm 40 years old these days, Lewis. It's not easy. Tony. What was I going to say? Oh, no. So here's the thing with interim titles. Remember Robert Whittaker, Yoel Romero, they fought for the interim title when I had the injured knee. And remember my reaction, I didn't give a fuck. I was filming that movie in Thailand, Triple Threat, comes out next month, or this month, or tomorrow is March. So from tomorrow. But Dana called me, my knee was bad. He said, well, can we do an interim title? I said, yeah, I don't give a fuck. Do an interim title. All it means is number one contender. So then when I went into that cage after the fight and Whittaker had won and I had a belt, I threw it on the floor, if you recall.
Yeah.
Right. And everyone was like, why is he throwing the belt on the floor? Because I was like, what I was saying was that belt is worthless. So I threw it on the floor. Now, of course, it was my belt that I threw on the floor, but it wasn't my belt. It was a belt that the UFC had given me, you know what I mean,
Right.
for promotional purposes in that moment. So by throwing it on the floor, I was like, fuck off. You ain't no champ. You know what I mean? You're an interim champ. Get the fuck out of here. And that's why I walked out.
And it's still kind of badass, like the perception of you just saying, fuck it, it's just, who cares? It's just a belt. You know what I'm saying? The reality is, it is just a belt. You know, I think, isn't it more important to be the best and be considered the best, widely regarded as the best, versus just having a belt?
Well, of course, if you two guys are going to fight and you're squaring up in the octagon and we've both got one of these fucking belts on our shoulders, then yeah, it doesn't matter. Throw the belt on the fucking floor.
They cancel each other out.
Fight. And the only thing that's going to matter is who's going to win. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why I did that. And then in the main event, of course, there's. Or should we talk about who wins that fight? I mean, of course,
Sure.
Max is a different monster these days, but Poirier is a beast as well. They've both got tremendously better, and that's about the extent of my breakdown and my in-depth analysis on that fight at this point. They've both got better since the first fight, but they really have. They really have. But we've got a lot of MMA to talk about. Gastelum versus Adesanya, though. Going back to what you said, and I kind of agree with you, but not fully. But this one is a legitimate reason for an interim belt. I mean, Whittaker's been out for a little bit already, and then unfortunately, you know, we all know about the hernia and the complications there. So he's going to be out again for another few months. So in this situation, I feel that it's a valid reason for an interim belt because things can go wrong. I mean, the doctors are saying 4 to 5 months. You never know. It could be a lot longer. And as I said, he's already been out for a while as well. So that makes sense. Israel Adesanya, obviously, massive rise through the sport. You know, he's become a huge star in little over a year, so he's done incredible there. And I always say this every time he's got a big step up in competition now. You know, and this time he really has because Anderson never really. I mean, it was a good fight, but Anderson didn't really fight his ass off, did he? He didn't really like, ooh, I'm willing to die in this one. You know, it was like a demonstration bout almost. Gastelum wants to be the champion bad. He's young. He's in his prime. So it's going to be an interesting fight. I mean, I'm not saying that Adesanya can't win it. What I'm saying is this is going to be a real true test. And I'm really looking forward to seeing it. It's a nice clash of styles almost.
Yeah, you're right. It's also like Anderson, you almost know what he's going to do. And just almost stylistically speaking, they both kind of came and demonstrated their, you know, amazing striking and martial arts skills, but it wasn't necessarily like, you know, it wasn't so like, you know, oh my God, this is going to be a real crazy challenge for Israel. Yeah, it was almost like Kelvin, at the very least,
it was like a sparring match.
He can knock him out, but he also can take him down at any given point. There's just a lot more there. And also, Kelvin just seems really, really hungry. There's something about Kelvin. There's like an attitude that he has where he just seems like he's always like, you know, he won the Ultimate Fighter. He sort of had that in him. There's like a hunger to him, and it seems like he really, really, really wants to be there. It almost seems like he wants to prove himself. Is he really short? How tall is Kelvin?
He's pretty short. I think he's like 5'9", 5'10", you know, I mean, compared to a real sized man like myself, he appears short, yes. Although I do believe 5'9" is the average height for men. So he's average.
In China. But here in America.
No, I was Googling this the other day because a friend of mine, he likes to bust my balls. I'm like, come on, shut up, you short, balding ass. So I was like, I'm not short, I'm the average height. So I Googled it and he was correct, 5'9". I'm like, bro, don't be proud of being 5'9", okay? Listen, you're on the small side for sure. And if anybody's listening, you know, it's okay. You can get those little inserts in your shoes now. Makes you a little bit tall. You can get that extra inch. You can convince people you're a real man. If you're 5'9", you can get that extra inch.
Imagine blue chew made sneakers.
Who doesn't want an extra inch, right, Harrington?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It is 5'9". That's crazy. I'm 6'1". How tall are you? 6'2"?
Well, when I got arrested at the police station, they said 6'2". So I've always said 6'2", but the UFC had me listed at 6'1". So, I mean, who knows? Maybe at the police station I had shoes on.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows?
And I
You
was
don't remember.
16 back then.
You don't remember
Yeah,
what
yeah, I know. It was a long time ago. I got arrested and they had me listed as 6'2", but I probably had my shoes on. UFC has me at 6'1". My wife refuses to believe that I'm 6'2". She says I'm short. And my left leg won't straighten now. It won't. It's really fucking bad. Thank God for CBDMD. Jesus Christ, it gets me through my day. But so it won't straighten. So now I'm standing
Oh,
on like
sorry.
a tilt and I'm getting shorter.
You can say happy birthday. Everyone's saying happy birthday as they take a slice of cake. Sorry, they want to. You can say happy birthday.
Jesus, interrupting the
Happy
shit.
birthday, Mike.
You're okay. Yeah,
Happy
go.
birthday,
You're fine.
That-
All right, guys. Just take the cake without
Thanks,
saying happy
buddy.
birthday from now on. All right, guys. We got it.
With the framing, I can't see who it is.
It was
We got new
Funzilla.
framing.
He's the new intern.
Funzoa. Okay.
Funzilla.
Do I know him? Hey,
No.
listen, Funzoa, you interrupt my show again, I'm gonna kick your ass. Okay? I can't have the cake. I can't eat the cake. I can't even see the cake, let alone taste the fucking cake. Take the cake, eat it, choke on it. Shut the fuck up. You ruined my flow of the show. We have no idea where we're going now. It's crazy time. Fucking Funzoa. What kind of name is that anyway? Jesus.
Everyone's just shoving cake into their mouth right now. The whole studio is really enjoying this right now.
Yeah, apart from me. Thanks.
Yeah. We got to talk about CBD MD, which is such an amazing company. I love CBD MD. I love CBD in general. And if you don't know what it is the non-psychoactive chemical in hemp, in marijuana. It does not get you high. It is legal in 50 states. It is safe to give to your pets, and they recommend it for children in a lot of cases, depending on their affliction. But do a little research on how CBD can help you. Everything from chronic pain, arthritis, people who can't sleep, people that are trying to get over issues from cancer or other diseases. Do a little bit of research. CBD is widely regarded right now as somewhat of a miracle drug.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, as you said, Lewis, CBD, it's a very popular thing right now. So there's a lot of CBD products on the market. You want to get the best one. Well, let me tell you, CBD MD has the highest quality CBD guarantee. So if you want the best, you got to buy the best, and that's CBD MD. There's some other fakers out there. So lots of other products. There's a lot of garbage on the market, but CBD MD, as I said, highest quality guaranteed, 100% grown in the USA. And this is the best bit, the best prices per milligram. Listen, we've been talking about this for a lot now. I mean, I said last week, my dad now doesn't have to use his walking stick, his cane. He can get around very, very well. My knees, I'm struggling, man, but I put that stuff on. I put the Recover on every night. I use the CBD Freeze, the Bio Freeze, and they got a variety of products as well. That's the great thing about CBD MD, that you can get the CBD in a variety of forms. They got gummies, they got drops, they got bath bombs, they got creams, they got roll-ons, they got all kinds of stuff, and they got a bunch of other good merchandise as well. So please get involved. This is really good for you. It's not a fad. Obviously, it helps with homeostasis, which is a proper regulation of things like internal body temperature, digestive function, anxiety, immune system function, hormone levels, etc., etc. So get involved. Go to cbdmd.com and use the promo code BYM20. As Lewis always says, that lets them know that the show sent you. So please do that because it supports the show. BYM20, you're going to get 20% off your official order. Sorry, your initial order and your official order. You're initially officially going to order and you're initially officially going to get 20% off that order by using the code BYM20. It lets them know that we sent you and it helps us and you to support the show. So please do that. cbdmd.com, BYM20, 20% off. You won't be disappointed.